Hello, we are live. It is so exciting, kind of terrifying. We're a little bit on the seat of our pants and have no idea what we're doing, but welcome to this live broadcast of Macbeth, a love story, a reading of a brand new script. We are just so pumped to be able to share this with you. The reading is going to start in just a couple minutes, but first we'd like to take just a little bit of time to talk about the organizations that we are raising money for tonight. So we are here tonight to raise funds for Theater Strong, and that is benefiting theaters in the Rogue Valley here in Oregon. We have given so much to these theaters, and they have given so much to us. And the need to create art and to tell stories doesn't end just because the doors are closed. We don't stop being artists in quarantine. If anything, the need becomes even greater. And now is the time to come together and help ensure the future of these organizations. The donation links for where you can give to these theaters is down below here on the YouTube page. It's also in the Facebook event. So throughout the night, I'm going to be breaking in, I mean, not that often, but a couple of times to really encourage you to donate what you can to these really fantastic organizations that really bring so much to the community. Now is the perfect time to give. So when you make your donation tonight, not if, but when you make your donation tonight, make sure to post it in the YouTube comments, because when other people see you giving, they're going to want to give too. Also, stay tuned, because at the end of tonight's broadcast, I'm going to be sharing with you what our next fundraising performance is going to be. I've got something cooking in early May, and I can't wait to share it with all of you. So before we get going with the reading, I'm going to bring on a couple of guests to talk to you about why you should give tonight and just how important that is. So first up, I'm going to be bringing on Dan Hauser and Sean Ramagos. That's the executive and artistic directors of Camelot Theater. Now, I will say, please bear with any technical difficulties, because this is as far from a controlled environment as you can possibly get. We are not in a theater, we're in our living room. I'm going to bring on so talk to you about why you should give tonight. And Dan, if you wouldn't mind muting the YouTube link. First up, I'm going to be bringing. Perfect. Like I said, technical difficulties, but here we are with Sean and Dan. Welcome, both of you. It's great to have you here with us tonight. Tell us a little bit about how people can support Camelot Theater in this time, and what Theater Strong is all about.
Well, hi, Paul. Thank you for having us on. We really appreciate it. And thank you for doing what you're doing for the community. To get through this really hard time, we have to join together. And that's why Theater Strong was created. Dan started the Theater Strong and offered it to other theaters as well. And we have to come back as a community, as a whole. And I love what you said in your intro. I think that you hit the nail on the head that, you know, creative people can't be kept in boxes, so to speak. And right now we're being forced to. So these creative outlets are really great for people to come on and share with the community what we truly love to do. And even when we are able to come back after this epidemic, it may be slow. And so the Theater Strong is really, really important for the viability and the continuation of theaters in the Valley. So I'll let Dan talk a little bit more about Theater Strong now. I just wanted to come on and thank you personally for doing what you're doing.
Absolutely, and thank you, Sean. Dan, tell us a little bit. You were the one who cooked up the name and got the ball rolling. Tell us all about it.
Well, the idea for Theater Strong came from years ago. Lance Armstrong came out with Live Strong. It was a cancer support, and actually when the theater shut down, this happened very quickly, and not I think actually every theater in the Valley didn't really have a chance to see it coming and prepare for it. And it just caught us off guard. And I was actually just flipping through a lot of things, and I came across my band from Livestrong. And I thought, there may be an application to bring this back. Checked online. I found that the theaterstrong.org website was available, and also it had not been trademarked. So I went out and blocked it all and put together this whole campaign. And what I've done is this little band. It's the same thing as the Livestrong. It's the silicone bracelet. And what it does is it gives you the chance to brand it for your theater. So we've got Camelot. CTP has their own brand on the bracelet. And it becomes really a nice piece that not only is it a tool for raising money in a critical time when we need to raise revenue, but it also connects us physically to our patrons, to our donors, to our cast and crew, and all of our staff when we can't be open. I mean, the theater is dark and it's very deserted when you walk in. It's very odd when you walk into a dark theater and think, where are the people? But this is a chance we can actually connect to them and stay close to them during this period of darkness. And it's been very successful. I'm very proud of what it's done. And again, I opened it up to CTP and Cabaret as well in the Valley. And now we're actually getting some requests from all over. I've got Tacoma up on doing it as well, and a few responses from New York. So this could take off and become very real excitement for a lot of theaters because everybody's in the same boat together.
Oh, that's fantastic. And how much can someone donate to get one of those wristbands for themselves?
We've kind of started at $25. So right now that's kind of just a ballpark. We started out there, but we've received donations from anywhere. I think the average donation coming in now is about $100. So I've gotten a lot more. Again, it's whatever you can donate. We're happy to work with people. It's a very challenging time for a lot of people. So we're not going to say mandated $25, no paying, nothing less. It's really just a number we're putting out there. We want to get the support and we want to get the bracelets out there so people really feel connected to the theaters. So if someone would like to get one for less than that, please give me a call. I totally understand it's a very challenging time. People are out of work, people are challenged. So we'll work with you.
And really every dollar counts, and every fundraising campaign in the world says that, but it is so true right now that a dollar from 100 people makes, all of a sudden you got $100, and that's a huge difference.
Exactly. The nice thing, we retired our mortgage last year, which is, we're grateful for that now, but there are still expenses going on. We've got utilities, we've got, rental properties that we have, the costume shop and running up, and we can't just turn our back on those expenses. So we can't raise money. This is where we can kind of keep ourselves afloat while we're waiting for the doors to open. And then once the doors are open, we have no idea what that landscape is going to look like. It's going to be probably much different than we've ever seen before. There'll be social distancing and seat arrangements. Who knows what the stage will look like? I don't know. Do we have to have, will the actors wear masks, and will they be able to have love scenes when they're 6 feet apart? I don't know. So it'll be different.
It sure will. But I know we're going to see us all on the other side of this too.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Sean, and thank you, Dan, for joining us this evening.
Thanks, Paul. Good luck on the show.
Thanks very much.
Break a keyboard, I guess.
Yeah, break a keyboard. Fantastic.
Right,
thanks so much.
Thanks.
And next, our last guest before we jump into the reading, we're going to have Rick Robinson, who is the managing director over at Oregon Cabaret Theater. He is coming on now. Oh, and it looks like we are live from the Oregon Cabaret Theater.
And I'm actually at the Oregon Cabaret Theater. How are you, Paul?
You know what? I'm here. I'm here and a little terrified, but doing my thing. How are you doing over there?
We're good. I mean, the same. Like, I'm trying to enjoy family time and trying to enjoy the time I have away, but it's stressful. You're scared. You're scared of getting sick. You're scared of what's going to happen with the business, etc. So, yeah. So,
for those tell those who are watching, how can someone help support the Oregon Cabaret Theater? They've seen shows, they love your work. How can they make sure to sustain your business through this time?
Well, we're in a bit of a different box than Dan and Sean are at the Camelot. We're for-profit business. So like the restaurants in the area, I know a lot of people are suffering, but for us, what we've been asking for, I mean, we're also participating in the Theater Strong program that Dan started. So you can go buy a wristband from us, or you can buy future tickets or season passes. I've said before that what we ask from you at the cabaret is just your business. And what we're asking for now is your business in the future. So if you like what we're about, if you like being entertained by us, buy a ticket to a show you know you're going to want to see later, buy a gift certificate. Yeah. I mean, if you want heartening news, the majority of our patrons have not asked for a refund on their tickets. They've asked for ticket credits. Some have refunded the money, even understanding we're for profit. So if you're looking for heartening news, the people I think have rallied around our theater, and I hope the other theaters in the Valley, because to echo what Dan and Sean said, let's come back together. Let's all arrive out of this sort of dark period, and let's survive it together. So I'm with you and your projects. I'm with the Camelot. I'm with CTP. I'm with the Randall. Like, let's all come out of this.
Because we will. This is not forever, and we are going to be back. And such a great point that if you out there, if you love a theater and you can afford to just buy a ticket to a show that's going to take place sometime in the future, just go do that. And even if it turns out you can't make that date, everyone's, just call and no one's going to not understand that. Just buy a ticket now and figure out the date later.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, Rick. Really appreciate you having you on. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, brother.
Okay, and now it's time for what you came here for. I'm about to bring in the actors, and we are going to be presenting for you a brand new adaptation of Macbeth entitled Macbeth, A Love Story. So one moment while all these actors come flooding into your screens. Absolute actor chaos. Okay, I think that's everyone. Actors, and we are going to be presenting for you a brand new adaptation. Make sure to mute the YouTube. Fantastic. I think we're all good to go. And this is Macbeth, A Love Story.
In the darkness, we hear thunder rumbling. Lightning sparks across the stage. We hear three voices, the witches.
Oh, we're missing in a technical difficulties. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to try this again in... Oh no, we've got everybody now. Okay, we're all set.
Shall we from the top?
Yeah, let's do that from the top. Fantastic.
Okay,
Live theater.
Take two. Okay. In the darkness, we hear thunder rumbling. Lightning sparks across the stage. We hear three voices, the witches.
When shall we three meet again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth.
Fair is foul, and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
The sounds of thunder transform into the sounds of war. The forces of England have invaded and are clashing with the last of Macbeth's troops. Death abounds in the darkness. As the lights rise, we see young Seward dead upon the ground. Macbeth, in armor and armed with an axe, stands over him. Macduff, at first unseen by Macbeth, enters. His sword is drawn.
Turn, hellhound, turn!
Of all men else I have avoided thee, but get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out!
They fight. The echoes of the fight around them begin to break away. Some kind of distant laughter surrounds us as the scene begins to change.
But here upon this bank and shoal of time, we'd jump the life to come.
Macbeth's axe is whisked away from him. Macduff disappears. Instead, a white sheet flutters across the stage. On top of that sheet is Lady Macbeth, beautiful and lithe. There is also a sense of danger and passion that runs through her.
Tell me.
What?
Tell me of the dream.
The dream.
Yes, I'd hear of it again, that I may lay and see it before my eyes.
Lady Macbeth reclines. Macbeth has finally shaken those previous thoughts and understands where he is.
In the dream, there is a grand room.
Do you know it?
No. Yes and no. I've not seen it, but I know it. The Royal Coronation Hall.
It must be so beautiful.
Dividing the room is a lush red carpet, like the fuller of a blade o'errun with blood. The columns are so white it blinds the eyes, and all around are draperies as green as jealousy.
My favorite color?
The very same. You are there, already seated on your throne.
How do I look?
Happy. And as I walk down this carpet, I see faces, faces of all those I've known in life.
Are they smiling?
Some, not all. There are those who wish to see me fall, those who envy me in this moment,
Macduff.
wearing a scowl on that ugly face.
And Banquo?
He's glad for me, always. I see the face of my father. He looks surprised.
As would I be if I were him.
Hmm?
To be dead some 14 years than to rise and see your son crowned king.
My love, you take these dreams a touch too close to truth.
But you want it, do you not?
To be king?
Of course.
Does not everyone wish such?
No. Some men dream of being farmers, raising families, of ruling their little homes, and nothing else till they go meet God.
I would make a terrible farmer.
And I'd be a terrible farmer's wife.
What kind of queen would you make?
The best kind.
And what kind is that?
The kind that knows the importance of the crown and would do anything to achieve it.
Anything?
Anything.
I want to give that to you.
Do you?
I want to give you everything.
You're not in line, you know.
For what?
To be king.
I know that.
Well, 'tis something to think on. No straight roads between us and your dream.
Then perhaps the road needs altering.
I like the way that sounds.
I told you on our first night I would give you everything, anything you could ever wish on.
You have done so much.
And there's much left to do.
You believe you can?
I know it. We wait, we dream, we shuffle our pawns across the board till they all fall in line.
And then?
Checkmate.
The scene changes and Lady Macbeth disappears. We are now on a heath near Forres. Macbeth and Banquo enter, fresh from the field of battle. They find a spot to sit, taking off bits of armor. Macbeth smokes. Banquo is not as much at ease.
How far is it to Forres?
A ways.
Should we go?
It will wait. Have we not earned a rest?
Perhaps you have. I grow restless.
Well, then walk, if you're such a restless soul.
I will wait.
Banquo sits, cleaning his weapon. Macbeth offers him a smoke. Banquo declines.
I thought I saw him out there today.
Who?
Cawdor, the Thane of Cawdor.
On the battlefield?
Perhaps, though it could have been anyone. 'Twas hell out there.
War always is.
It's why I like keeping far from it.
No, sometimes the war comes to you.
Macbeth smokes. Banquo can't settle his thoughts.
You don't think he'd turn traitor?
Cawdor? You'd more like to see him up the king's ass than playing for the other side.
Perhaps.
The man would happily chew the king's food for him. He might pre-drink his soup as well.
I just can't shake the feeling.
I was too busy to notice. Too much work to be done.
Awful bloody business.
Business is the word for it.
You always seem to take a lot of satisfaction from it.
Is it wrong to be proud of what you do?
Proud of killing.
If it needs be done. If no one ever needed to die, Death could hang his scythe and retire.
It just seems there could be some better way.
Some do not want the better way. Some need to be killed before they get the message.
That's some attitude you've got.
I don't take kindly to battling Norwegians in my backyard. If they want to die so badly, I'll happily go to Norway and save them the trip.
Thunder and lightning. The storm has caught up with them.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is to Forres?
Suddenly there appear 3 witches. They are horrid and ugly creatures.
What are these, so withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on't? Live you? Or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me by each at once her chappy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be a woman, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak, if you can. What are you?
All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail, Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail, Macbeth, thou shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope. That he seems rapt withal, to me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail,
Hail.
Hail.
lesser than Macbeth the greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Stay, you imperfect speakers. Tell me more. By Senel's death, I know I am Thane of Glamis. But how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you.
The witches vanish.
The earth hath bubbles, as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air, and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would they had stayed.
Are such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
A moment passes between them, and they share this joke. In this moment, Macbeth could almost forget the idea of being king.
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor too, went it not so?
To the self-same tune and words. Who's there?
Enter Ross.
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. Strange images of death, as thick as hail, came post with post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him. I am sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not to pay thee. And for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both he labored in his country's wreck, I know not. But treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope that your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you into the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes, to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles to betrays in deepest consequence. Cousin, a word, I pray you.
Banquo takes Ross a few steps away. leaving Macbeth alone in the middle of the space.
Two truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, kind sir. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partner's wrapped.
If chance will have me king, chance may crown me without my stir.
New honors come upon him, like our strange garments cleave not their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what, come may, time and hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure?
Give me your favor. My dull reign was wrought with things forgotten. Kind cousin, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts each to other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends.
They depart. The scene changes. We are now in Inverness, home of Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth enters, reading a letter.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air into which they vanished. Whiles I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king who all hailed me, Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on the time, with Hail, King that shalt be! This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised, yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst holily, wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'dst have great Glamis, that which cries, thou must do if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do, than wishest should be undone. Hie thee hither, I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have crowned thee withal.
Enter a messenger.
What is your tidings? Oh, the king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who, were it so, would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true, our Thane is coming. One of my worthy fellows had the speed of him, who, almost sick for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. He brings great news.
Exit messenger. As Lady Macbeth speaks, she prepares a simple ritual.
The raven himself is hoarse, that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe-top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop up the access and the passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breast, and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, Hold! Hold!
Enter Macbeth. She knows he is there without seeing him.
Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both, by the all-hail hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men read strange matters to beguile the time. Look like the time. Bear welcome in your eyes, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall, to all our nights and days to come, give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
Lady Macbeth and Macbeth exit, and the scene changes. We are now outside the castle walls. Fleance enters, followed by Banquo.
What are you looking at, boy?
Everything. It's so much bigger than back home.
Different things are suited for different men.
You do not need the room.
I need nothing more than what I have, for home and family is finer than gold.
Banquo takes hold of his son.
Now, I need you to listen carefully.
Sit, father.
I need you to be on your guard tonight.
Are you worried?
Call it healthy concern.
Of what?
Do not fear. Not now. Just keep your eyes open.
Yes, sir.
There are some places in the world that hold strange feelings, inspire odd instincts, and instincts are useless unless we listen to them.
Yes, sir.
Now go wash up. Tonight we dine with the king.
Fleance beams and runs off. Banquo stays, troubled, looking up at the stars.
You stars. You hang in the darkness and know the hearts of men. And yet that knowledge which you hold dear is that which I cannot discern. I'd give all to know what you've heard within these walls. My heart is so full of strange imaginings. Macbeth, my friend, what dire thoughts are running through your mind this night?
Banquo exits and the scene shifts. We are outside the dining hall in Inverness. Servants cross with plates. Macbeth enters. He is troubled.
If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, and that we but teach bloody instructions which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity, like a naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other.
Lady Macbeth enters.
How now? What news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
Oh, We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem'st the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat of the adage?
Prithee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man, nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums, and dashed the brain out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
And if we should fail?
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place, and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his 2 chamberlains will I wine, and wassail so convinced that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie, as in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy 2 of his own chamber, and used their very daggers, that they have done it?
Who dares receive it other? As we shall make our griefs and clamor roar upon his death.
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mark the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
They share a moment together, then depart. The scene shifts to a courtyard in the castle. Fleance enters with a lantern, followed by Banquo.
How goes the night, boy?
Down. I have not heard the clock.
And she goes down at 12.
I take 'tis later, sir.
Hold, take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven, their candles are all out. Take thee that too. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers restrained in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose.
Macbeth enters with a servant.
Give me my sword, who's there?
A friend.
What, sir, not yet at rest? The king's abed, he hath been in unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your white withal by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the 3 weird sisters. To you they have showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, we should spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and allegiance clear, I shall be counseled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Banquo and Fleance exit.
Go bid thy mistress, when my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed.
The servant exits.
Is this a dagger which I see before me, the handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which I now draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. Oh, I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now, o'er the one half-world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates poor Hecate's offerings and withered murder. Alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides toward his design, moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm-set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabouts, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. Whilst thy threat he lives, words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives.
A bell rings.
I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Macbeth exits. Thunder and lightning rock the castle. Lady Macbeth enters. She is on edge.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace. It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman, which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
What's there? What ho?
Alack, I am afraid they have awakened, and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark! I laid the daggers ready, he could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I'd done it.
Macbeth enters.
My husband.
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
I.
Hark, who lies in the second chamber?
Albane.
Oh, this is a sorry sight.
Foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh in his sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and address them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and Amen, the other, as they had seen me with these hangmen's hands, listening their fear. I could not say Amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce Amen? I had most need of blessing, and Amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought. After these days so, it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep, the innocent sleep, sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care, the death of each day's life, sore labor's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more, to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why, worthy Thane, do you unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things? Go, get some water, and wash this filthy witness from your hands. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think what I have done. Look on't again? I dare not.
Infirm of purpose. Give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
She exits back up to the king's chamber. There is knocking.
Oh, whence is that knocking? God, how is it with every noise appalls me? What hands are here? They pluck out mine eyes. Oh, will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
Lady Macbeth re-enters, her hands now covered in blood.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white.
More knocking.
I hear knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is then! Your constancy hath left you unattended.
More knocking.
Hark! More knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us, and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
Lady Macbeth exits to their chamber.
To know my deed, 'twere best not to know myself.
More knocking.
Wake Duncan with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
Lady Macbeth re-enters, helping Macbeth change into his nightclothes. He opens the door to Ross and Macduff as she exits.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy thing?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Macduff exits.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentings heard in the air, strange screams of death, and prophesying with terrible accents of dire combustion and confused events of new hatched to the woeful time. The obscure bird clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Macduff enters.
Oh, horror, horror, horror. Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord's anointed temple and stole thence the life of the building.
What did you say? The life?
You mean his majesty?
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new Gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, and then speak yourselves.
Ross and Macbeth exit to the king's chamber.
Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason! Banquo and Donalbain! Malcolm! Awake! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Up! Up! And see the great doom's image, Malcolm, Banquo, as from your graves rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror. Ring the bell!
Macduff exits yelling. Lady Macbeth enters, ringing a bell. She has a smirk on her face. Macbeth enters, wiping his hands on a bloody towel.
There's blood on thy hands.
The king's guards.
Was it needful?
They were waking. Dead men tell no tales.
Is that it then? Are we done?
There are the boys, the young princes, but it seems the nobility has escaped.
Escaped?
Whilst Macduff was braying like an ass, the two young princes slipped the scene and fled.
That looks bad for them.
It does.
It is the guilty conscience that flees.
No gloating.
I'm only happy to realize the dream we've had for so long. Aren't you?
I'm happy to give you your dreams, my love.
I know my life was meant for yours. And now, No more blood.
Only doing what needs be done.
What does that mean?
When blood spills, it is not easily put back again, and the arrow that shot may not yet have landed.
He kisses her.
We'll have our happiness, and we'll do what we must to have it.
Macbeth exits. Lady Macbeth looks on, sadly. A new realization is dawning on her as she exits. The scene changes to the palace. Banquo enters, more troubled than ever.
Thou hast it now. King, Cawdor, Glamis, all, as the weird women promised, and I fear thou platest most foully for it. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, why, by the verities on thee made good, may thee not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush no more.
Trumpets sound. Macbeth, the king, and Lady Macbeth, the queen, enter, with Ross and a servant.
Ah, here's our chief guest.
If he had been forgot, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but we'll take tomorrow. Is it far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better. I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
By Lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state craving us jointly. Hie you to horse, adieu, till you return at night. Oh, goes Fleance with you?
Aye, my good lord, our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell.
Banquo exits.
Dear cousin, have we heard from noble Macduff? His absence at our coronation was not forgotten.
He has gone back to Fife, my lord. He's back with his family, he has said.
With no plans to come?
None.
A pity. I think Banquo would have liked the company. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourself till supper time alone. While then, God be with you.
Lady Macbeth and Ross exit.
Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us.
Servant exits.
To be thus is nothing but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when they first put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren scepter in my grip, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filled my mind. For them the gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace, only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of men, to make them kings, the seed of Banquo, kings. Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there?
Enter 2 murderers.
Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then, now, have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was he in the times past which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were borne in hand, how crossed the instruments who wrought with them, and all things else might to half a soul and to a notion crazed say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so, and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospeled to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are men, my liege.
Aye, in the catalogue ye go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, shaws, waterrugs, and demi-wolves are clept all by the name of dogs. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike. And so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file not in the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who wear our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
So he is mine, and in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. And though I could, with barefaced power, sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down. And thence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us, though our lives...
Your spirit shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on't, for it must be done tonight. And something from the palace, always thought that I require a clearness, and with him I leave no rubs nor botches in the work. Fleance, his son, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourself apart. I'll come to you anon.
We are resolved, my lord.
I'll call upon you straight. Abide within.
The murderers exit.
It is concluded, Banquo. Thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Macbeth exits, pacing as Lady Macbeth enters, having heard what has gone on.
Naught's had, all spent, where our desire is got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy.
Macbeth re-enters.
How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone? Of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on. Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scorched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint, both the worlds suffer, ere we will eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, whom we to gain our peace have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on, gentle my lord, sleek o'er your rugged looks, be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I, love, and so, I pray, be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him with eminence, both in eye and tongue. Unsafe the while that we must lave our honors in these flattering streams, and make our faces vizards to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowst that Banquo and his flea haunts lives.
But in them nature's copy's not a turn.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund. Ere the bat hath clone his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate's summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So, prithee, go with me.
Macbeth kisses her and exits. She stands alone for a moment, coming to the realization of what she will now do. A servant enters. She hands over her crown and her queen's clothing and accepts a murderer's cowl. Murderers 1 and 2 enter. The scene is a country road near the palace.
But who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth.
He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just. Do you stand?
I do.
Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the lated traveller apace to gain the timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark! I hear horses.
Give us a light there, ho!
Then 'tis he. The rest that are within the note of expectation already are in the court. His horses go about.
Almost a mile, but he does usually. So all men do, from hence to the palace gate, make it their walk.
A light! A light!
Banquo and Fleance enter, carrying a lantern.
Is he?
Stand to it.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
They set upon Banquo.
Oh, treachery! Fly, good Fleance, fly! Fly, fly! Thou mayest revenge! Oh, slave!
Banquo is mortally wounded, but in the moment before death, he reaches up and takes off the hood of Lady Macbeth, revealing her to be his murderer. He dies. Her hands are covered in his blood. She covers her face again. The lights black out.
We have now reached intermission. That is the end of Act 1. I'm going to put the actors back in the green room, and they're going to get a chance to grab a drink and relax for a minute, while I talk to you a little bit more about donating. Isn't that the most fun thing? Again, I want to thank you all for joining us either here live or maybe you're watching it later on YouTube. We so appreciate your support, and the theaters that we are talking with also appreciate that support. We're going to be talking to a couple more artistic directors here during the intermission. First up, we're going to be talking to Susan Aversa Orego, who is the Artistic Director of Collaborative Theater Project. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Susan into the chat here. For joining us either. All right. Hello, Susan.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, in the middle of Macbeth, but otherwise great.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Great. Having, a very calm, peaceful Sunday. So I'm glad I could join you this evening.
So good to have you. So we're talking to our audience tonight, the people, everybody out there watching, about how they can contribute and why they should contribute to help Collaborative Theater Project and other theaters make it through these complicated times. So tell them a little bit about what they can do to help.
Well, we got through the first weekend of Our Town at CTP, and we feel that we've got a really solid production. So what we're going to do is come back as soon as we can and revive that production and start up with that one again, because everything's in place for that. I've got the Theater Strong bracelet, just like Dan and Rick. And so obviously they can go to our website, which is ctpmedford.org, and get a Theater Strong bracelet or just make a donation. Same thing that the two gentlemen said. Basically, if you have tickets for a show, we'll reschedule. So please, if you can hold off on getting a refund and use those for the future, that would be a gift. I think that it did take everybody by surprise, and everybody is jumbling and jumping through hoops trying to adjust to this world right now and trying to figure out what it means for theater. What was interesting for me is that I had to write a grant in this time. And usually when you write grants, you have to be your own cheerleader and talk about all the positive things you're going to do and what this money is going to do for new programs. But right now, any grant money really goes to sustainability. And so I did something that I've not done before, and it was a really neat experience. I reached out to some of our performers and supporters and patrons and asked them why they thought CTP should survive, and got some amazing answers. And so that was a really good bit of encouragement. So I think, pick your favorite theater, pick all the theaters, do what you can, give $5, give $1, whatever works, because theater is just something that makes all of our lives richer, and it makes everyone join together in a community. We're having a lot of fun. CTP set up Rogue Valley Plague Theater Company, and we're doing a Shakespearean sonnet every night, Monday through Friday. And we've got Jeff Ridden as our dramaturg. And so we're just having a ball, trying to be lighthearted in a pandemic.
Well, if you've not seen a show at CTP, grab a gift card, make a donation, make your plans to go, and make sure that you get out there to support this great Rogue Valley Theater. Thanks so much, Susan, for joining us.
Well, thank you for doing what you're doing too. And my love to all the actors, because I know it's a labor of love. So take care, and we'll see you in Act 2.
We'll see you then.
Okay, thanks.
And now joining us, I'm going to bring in Kathy Wing, who is the artistic director for the Randall Theater. So let's say hello to Kathy as her audio is connecting. The joy of Zoom. I have worked with the Randall. I have so much respect for Kathy and for what the Randall does. And I am so glad to be able to get the opportunity to help support them as well. So Kathy, thanks for joining the broadcast tonight.
Oh, you betcha. Glad to be here.
So we're talking to our audience out here about what they can do to help support these organizations during this time.
Well, I would absolutely echo what everybody else has been saying. Of course, the theater companies need financial support right now. As for the Randall Theater Company, and I think like some of the other theater companies, we survive on ticket sales. That is our lifeblood. And right now we're not able to do shows for you. We're not able to perform. And so there are no ticket sales right now. And so if the theater companies that you love are going to make it through to the other side of this, we all need your support. All of us do. And so that's what we're really hoping for. The Randall Theater Company was, we were about 3 weeks away from opening our first show of 2020, which was going to be I Do, I Do. And we were really excited about it. That show is going to be rescheduled for another time, and we will put it on. And we also have another show that we're working on, Waiting Star. Again, that will be rescheduled. We will do it another time. But what we are doing in the meantime, we have something we're calling Ghost Lighting in the Dark, Theater in the Dark. And this is a weekly series that we are putting together. We're having interviews with actors. We're doing some other special features. We're issuing a Randall challenge to get our audiences involved. And again, we just want to encourage the patrons who have been there for the Randall Theater and the other theaters. They've been there for us over the years. And so we're really counting on that to keep going. But we want to give something back. And so that's why we're doing Ghost Lighting Theater in the Dark Thursdays at 8 o'clock on the Randall Theater Facebook page, in case you want to get involved. And so, but yes, I would just encourage everybody to support all of the theater companies, and help us be there on the other side so that we can keep going with the shows that we know you want to see.
So click on the link below to find the fundraising page for the Randall. And as soon as they're able to sell tickets that next show, make sure you grab a ticket to that. Thanks so much, Kathy, for joining us on the broadcast tonight.
So much for having me.
Have a great night. Okay, our intermission is about to come to a close. Remember to stay tuned at the end of the broadcast. If you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. And if you've made a donation, when you make a donation, put that there too. Let us congratulate you. And at the very end of the broadcast, I'll be announcing what our next performance is going to be. It's going to be something totally different. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the actors back in. We'll have a deluge of actor stuff. Actors are re-entering the theater. In the chat, you make a donation. All right, looks like, make sure we're all back here. And fittingly enough, the rain has just started here at my house. So we'll see. I know, just in time for, well, I guess it's been spooky the whole way through, but we're just waiting for reconnection for our last actor here. And I think while she is connecting, we can go ahead and get going, and we'll see if that's a mistake in a few minutes. So without further ado, this is Act 2 of Macbeth, a love story.
Lights up on a feast being set at the royal palace. Enter Macbeth, Ross, servants.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. At first and last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Lady Macbeth enters.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends, for my heart speaks they are welcome.
First murderer appears at the entrance.
See, they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here I'll sit in the midst, be large in mirth. Anon we'll drink a measure, the table round.
Macbeth approaches the first murderer.
There's blood on thy face.
'Tis Banquo's then.
Oh, 'tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Oh, thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the non-peril.
Most royal sir, Fleance escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. But now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe.
Aye, my good lord, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trenched gashes on his head, the least a death to nature.
Oh, thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature in him that time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
First murderer exits.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer, the feast is sold, that is not often vouched, while 'tis a-making. 'Tis given with welcome, to feed were best at home, from thence the sauce to meat is ceremony, eating were bare without it.
Sweet remembrancer. Now, good digestion wait on appetite, and health on both.
May it please your highness sit?
The ghost of Banquo enters and sits in Macbeth's place.
Here had we now our country's honor roofed, were the graced person of our Banquo present, who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Pleased your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is it that moves your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise, his highness is not well.
It, worthy friends, my lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought, he will be well again. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not. Are you a man?
Aye, and a bold one that dare look on that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts. Impostors to true fear would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but on a stool.
Prithee, see there, behold. Look. Lo, how say you? Why, what care I? If thou canst nod, speak too. If charnel houses and our graves must send back those that we bury, our monuments shall be the maws of kites.
The ghost of Banquo vanishes.
What quite unmanned in folly.
If I stand here, I saw him.
For shame.
Oh, blood hath been shed ere now, in the olden time, ere human statute purged the gentle wheel. Aye, and since, too, murders have been performed too terrible for the ear. The times have been that, when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murders in their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all. Then I'll sit down. Give me some wine, fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here. To all and him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties and the pledge.
The ghost of Banquo enters.
Avaunt and quit my sight. Let the earth hide thee. Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare I dare? Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the Herson tiger? Take any shape but that, and my firm nerve shall never tremble. Or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence!
The ghost of Banquo vanishes.
Why, so, being gone, I am a man again. Pray you, sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be, and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange even to the disposition that I owe, when now I think you can behold such sights, and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks, when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
Pray you, speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
A good night to all.
The feast is broken up. Ross exits.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move, and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have, by maggot pies and coughs and rooks, brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning, which is which.
How sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it, by the way. But I will send. There's not a one of them, but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will to the weird sisters. More shall they speak. For now I am bent to know, by the worst means the worst. For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood stepped in so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go over. Strange things I have in head that will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures, sleep.
Come, we'll to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are but young indeed.
Lady Macbeth and Macbeth depart to their bedchamber. The scene changes and we are outside the palace. Ross enters with another lord of the royal house.
My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret further. Only I say things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth. Marry, he was dead. The right valiant Banquo walked too late. Whom you may say, if it please you, Fleance killed, for Fleance fled. Men must not walk too late. Who cannot want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father? Damned fact! How it did grieve Macbeth! Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was that not nobly done? Aye, and wisely too, for 'twould have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So that I say he has borne all things well. And I do think that had he Duncan's sons under his key, as and please heaven he shall not. They should find what were to kill a father, so should Fleance. But peace, from broad words and cause, he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast. I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself?
The son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court, and is received of the most pious Edward with such grace that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is gone to pray the holy king upon his aid to wake Northumberland and warlike Seward, that by the help of these with him above to ratify the work, we may again give to our tables meat, sleep to our nights, free from our feasts and banquets bloody knives, do faithful homage and receive free honors, all which we pine for now. And this report hath so exasperated the king that he prepares for some attempt of war.
Said he to Macduff?
He did. And with an absolute, sir, not I, the cloudy messenger turns his back, and hums, as who would say, you'll rue the time that clogs me with this answer.
And that well might advise him to a caution, to hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return to this our suffering country under a hand accursed.
I'll spend my prayers with him.
They exit and the scene shifts. Thunder and lightning. We are descending into a hellish pit. The witches enter, carrying a cauldron.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Harp your cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad that under cold stone days and nights has 31. Sweltered venom sleeping got, boil thou first i' the charmed pot.
Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Fillet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing. For a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble.
Double, double toil and trouble.
Fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Gale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witches, mummy, maw, and gulf. Of the ravined salt sea shark, root of hemlock digged in the dark, liver of blaspheming Jew, gall of goat and slips of yew, silvered in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tartar's lips, finger of birth-strangled bab, ditch delivered by the drab, make the gruel thick and slab, add thereto a tiger's cauldron, for the ingredients of a cauldron, double, double, toil and trouble.
Fire burn and cauldron bubble.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
Macbeth enters.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is it you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you, by that which you profess, how are you come to know it? Answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yesty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's Germans tumble all together, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demand.
We'll answer.
Say if thou'dst rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call him. Let me see him.
Pour in sow's blood that hath eaten, for 9 pharaoh, grease that's sweaten from the murderer's gibbet, throw into the flame.
Come high or low, thyself and office deftly show.
Macbeth is strapped to a chair and made to drink the contents of the cauldron.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not.
Macbeth. Macbeth, Macbeth, beware Macduff. Beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me, enough.
Whate'er thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fear right. But one word more.
You will not be commanded. Here's another more potent than the first.
The second apparition appears.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth!
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of a man, for none of women born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder.
The third apparition appears.
What is this that rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lion-mettled proud, and take no care who chaffs, who frets, or where's conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Burnham Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
That shall never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earthbound root? Oh, sweet bodements, good rebellion's head, rise never till the wood of Burnham rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
Macbeth's sight finally clears, and the room is now empty.
Where are they? Gone? Oh, let this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in without there.
Enter servant.
What is your grace's will?
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse. Who was it came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my good lord.
Time thou anticipatest my dread exploits, the flighty purpose ne'er is o'ertook unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool. But no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
Macbeth and servant exit. The scene shifts to Fife, the home of Macduff and his family. Lady Macduff and her son enter, with Ross.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom. To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion, and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch for the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in the nest against the owl. All is the fear and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason.
My dearest coz, I pray you, school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumor from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea each way and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at worst will cease, or else climb upward to be what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessings upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool should I stay longer. It would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Ross exits.
Sirrah, your father's dead, and what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird, thou'dst never fear the net, nor lime, the pitfall, nor the gin.
Oh, why should I, mother? Poor birds are not sent for. My father is not dead, for all you're saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy 'em to sell 'em again.
Thou speakst with all thy wit, and yet, a faith, with wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Every one that does so is a traitor and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Every one.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swears are fools, for there are liars and swears enough to beat the honest men that hang up them.
Now, God help thee, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you'd weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign that I should quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talk'st.
Enter Ross.
Bless you, fair dame. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here. Hence with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks I'm too savage. To do worse were fell cruelty, which is too nigh to your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare abide no longer.
Ross exits.
Whither should I fly? I have done no harm. But I remember now I am in this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable, to do good sometimes accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up a womanly defence to say I have done no harm?
Enter murderer.
What is this face?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou liest, thou shag-eared villain!
What, you egg?
Murderer stabs him.
Young fry of treachery.
He has killed me, mother. Run away, I pray you.
Son dies. As murderer closes in on Lady Macduff, the lights dim, and the scene moves back to the royal palace. Macbeth is sulking on his throne. Lady Macbeth enters.
30.
30.
30 souls in Macduff's home.
And now? Was it needful?
I don't know.
And they are dead.
Wife, children, servants, stewards, all.
And Macduff? He lives.
He's fled to England.
And his children were to take his place.
He has gone to England to bring back an army to destroy this house, our house.
That is worth the killing of children.
Would you pluck the babe from your breast and smash its head? I will do what needs be done to protect us. I will not sit idly by as destruction rains down upon us.
We'll kill the whole world before it kills us.
My love, what would you have me do?
There is so much blood upon our hands.
Better the blood of others than the blood of our own hearts. Better the blood of all the world than a single drop of yours. If I must bring down the world, I will. For you, my love.
And to do so, you damn us all, my sweet.
They share a moment, then exit. The scene changes and we are in England. Macduff enters, followed by Ross.
Stands Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rend the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell is their scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
Oh, relation, too nice and yet too true. What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace?
No. They were well at peace when I did leave them.
Be not a niggard of your speech. How goes it?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witnessed the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort. We are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good seaward and 10,000 men, an older and better soldier none than that Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like, but I have words that would be howled out in the desert air, where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause, or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that yet they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised. Your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the matter, we're on the quarry of those murdered deer to add the death of you.
My children too?
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
I must be from hence. My wife killed too?
I have said, be comforted. Let us make medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh, Hellkite. All? What, all my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. But I must also feel it like a man. I cannot but remember such things that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee, not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine, fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes, and braggart with my tongue. But gentle heavens, cut short all intermission, front to front. Bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself within my sword's length set him. And if he scape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, go we to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for the shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
Macduff and Ross exit. The scene changes back to Macbeth's royal palace. It is in the middle of the night. A doctor and a gentlewoman enter, carrying a candle.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon't, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
Great perturbation in nature to receive at once the benefit of sleep and to the effects of watching. In this slumbering agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not repeat after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you nor any one, having no witness to confirm my speech.
Lady Macbeth appears, carrying a lantern.
Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
How came she by the light?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense is shut.
What is she does now? Look, she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this 1/4 of an hour.
Yet here's a spot.
Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes from her, to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
Out, damned spot. Out, I say. 1, 2. Why, then 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie! A soldier in a field. What need we fear who knows it when none can call our power to account? Yet, who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where's she now? What will these hands now be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You mar all with this starting.
Go to, you have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not, I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Here's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand.
What a sigh is there! The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those which have walked in their sleep who have died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale, I tell you yet again. Banquo's buried. He cannot come out on's grave.
Even so.
To bed. To bed, there's knocking at the gate. Come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed. To bed.
Lady Macbeth takes her lantern and exits.
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their death pillows will discharge their secrets. No more needs she the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her. Remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So good night. My mind, she has mated and amazed my sight, I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
They exit. The next morning, in Macbeth's chamber, Macbeth enters. The English forces are coming, and the stress inside the royal palace is beginning to build.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. Till Burnham Wood remove to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What's the man Macduff? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. Then fly, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt nor shake with fear.
Enter servant.
The devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon. Where gotst thou that goose look?
There is 10,000
Geese, villain?
soldiers, sir.
Go prick thy face and overread thy fear. Thou lily-livered boy, what soldiers, Patch? Death of thy soul, those linen cheeks of thine are counselors to fear. What soldiers, Wayface?
The English force, so please you.
Take thy face hence.
Exit servant.
Satan! I am sick at heart when I behold Satan! This push will cheer me ever or deceit me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life is fallen to the sear, the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age, as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have. But in their stead, curses, not loud, but deep, mouth honor, breath, which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Satan!
Enter Satan, along with the doctor.
What is your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till my bones from my flesh be hacked. Give me mine armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on, send out more horses, skirt the country round, hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick, coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart?
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Oh, throw physic to the dogs. I'll none of it. Come, put mine armor on. Give me my staff. Satan, send out. Doctor, the thanes fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pull it off, I say. What rhubarb, cyme, or what purgative drug would scour these English hence? Hear'st thou of them?
Aye, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I'll not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Wood come to Dunsinane.
Macbeth exits.
Were I from Dunsinane, away and clear, profit against should hardly draw me here.
Doctor exits. Lady Macbeth enters. She touches the throne. She removes her crown and places it on the throne.
It will have blood, you said. Blood will have blood. Blood will have blood. Will have blood all the way down, down to the end where there's naught else but us. You and I, my love, my partner, my dearest Chuck. We began it, and it shall be us that end it. In the end it will fall to us. And I only have so much blood. Only so much blood to give. And then what? What will we do when our poor, tortured hearts have bled their last? I see it coming. My love, I see it all before us. And I can do nothing to stop it.
Lady Macbeth exits. Her world ends. The scene returns to the throne room. Macbeth and Satan enter.
Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come. Our castle strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here, let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home.
A cry resounds.
What was that noise?
It is the cry of women, my good lord.
Satan exits.
I have almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would at dismal treaties rouse and stir as life were in it. I have supped full with horrors. Direness familiar to my slaughterous thoughts cannot once start me.
Satan re-enters.
Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and threats his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Enter a messenger.
Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon, methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me endure your wrath, if be not so. Within these 3 miles may you see it coming, I say a moving grove.
If thou speaks false, upon the next tree shalt thou hang alive, till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution, and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not, till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane, and now a wood comes toward Dunsinane. Arm, and out! If this which he avouches does appear, there is nor flying hence nor tarrying here. I begin to be aweary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarm bell. Blow, wind, come, rack. At least we'll die with harness on our back.
All exit. The scene moves to the battlefield. The armies clash all around. War drums can be heard. Macduff enters.
That way the noise is. Tyrant, show thy face! If thou beest slain and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns, whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with unbattered edge I sheathe again undeeded. There thou shouldst be. By this great clatter, one of the greatest note seems bruited. Let me find him fortune, and more I beg not.
Macduff exits. Macbeth enters.
They have me tied to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear, or none?
Young Seward enters.
What is thy name?
What is yours, boy?
Seward, son of Seward.
Oh, son of the English champion.
What is thy name?
Thou'lt be afraid to hear it.
No, that thou callest thyself a hotter name than is any hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce the title more hateful to mine ear.
No, nor more fearful.
Thou liest, abhorred tyrant. With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speakst.
They fight. Young Seward is slain.
Thou wast born of woman. But swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by man that's of woman born.
Macduff enters.
Turn, hellhound, turn!
Of all men else I have avoided thee, but get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
They fight.
Thou losest labor. As easiest may thou the entrenched air with thy keen sword impress as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believed than palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze the time. We'll have thee as our rarer monsters are, painted on a pole and underwrit, here may you see the tyrant.
No, I'll not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Burnham would be come to Dunsinane, and thou opposed being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, hold, enough.
They fight. Lady Macbeth, gone, yet here, enters. Macbeth catches sight of her, and the fight begins to turn against him. She stands waiting for him. He wants so much to join with her. With one final blow, Macduff knocks Macbeth down, so he is kneeling before Lady Macbeth. Before Macduff can deal the killing blow, Macbeth is taken from the action. He joins Lady Macbeth, and they are together at last. Happy at last.
And with that, we have reached the end of the reading. I want to thank you so much for watching. A huge thanks to these incredibly talented performers that have taken the time to join me for rehearsals and join me tonight. You all are the best, and I am so grateful to have you. Go ahead and stay on, because I'll just wrap this up real quick. To everyone watching, we so appreciate you being here. Please make that donation today to one of these fantastic theaters that you've seen people coming from tonight. And stay tuned to around here, because in the month of May, we're looking at May 9th. Pretty sure, double checking, that's the Saturday. Yes, it is. May 9th, we're going to be having a 24-hour play festival, which none of these actors have known about yet. But that's going to be a thing where all the scripts are written and rehearsals done and things performed all in the span of 24 hours. So if you tune in on May 9th, you're going to see some brand new work. Maybe with these faces, if they want to be a part of it, probably with a whole bunch more that join us, who knows? But it's all going to go towards raising awareness for Theater Strong. So thank all of you out there. Thank these actors one more time. Such a fabulous job. All of you stay safe, stay healthy, and please support live theater.